Yes. So make sure you comment. I see a lot of you on YouTube already. I see a lot of you here on Facebook. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Hopefully you have your coffee. We're talking about inflation. We're talking about inflation. We're talking about hyperinflation specifically. And I just want to have a healthy discussion about hyperinflation. I'm really interested to hear from you guys. Comment in the comment section below. Do you think we are going to experience hyperinflation? Now, some of you, maybe are not aware of how the monetary system works, and all the different times in history when we've experienced hyperinflation. A few key things to remember is that the 1944 there was a reset in the monetary system, and we all came to the agreement to have the U.S. currency as a reserve currency, and so indirectly everybody's tied to that currency. And so in 1944, that currency obviously was backed by gold. 1971, actually right before 1971, we were experiencing inflation. People wanted, countries wanted to get their gold back, and the U.S. government, President Nixon, actually removed the gold standard away from the currency, making it a fiat currency. What does this mean? Well, currency in essence is just paper, and the paper has a value based on the perception of the people and how much value you put on the currency. I see a lot of you here. Good morning, guys. Great to see you. Hey, we're having a great discussion this morning. We're talking about hyperinflation. I'm really excited to talk about this subject matter because it's on everybody's mind, and I'm getting a lot of the questions. Good morning here on YouTube as well, Facebook. And so we just covered a little bit of, Ed says funny money. And so a little bit of the history that, in 1971, this is when the world was robbed blind. We don't talk about it much in the history books, but it is a big moment in history when we started to trade in paper, fiat currency. So before that, all of the monetary system, the reserve banks, which is we've all come to an agreement that the U.S. is the reserve currency of the world, and it was backed by gold. After 1971, it wasn't, and so we had inflation at that time, and so inflation just means there is more money chasing less goods and services, right? So the cost of goods and services go up. And so inflation is happening all the time. The money's being devalued. This is why, the wealthy don't necessarily like to sit on cash because you're losing money. You probably heard it before. Savers are losers, not because they're saving money or putting money away. It's because if you're sitting on fiat currency, you're losing money every single day because the value of that money is going down. And so a question that a lot of people have is why in the world is the prices of real estate going up, right? We see that the government is just printing money like crazy because this is what they're doing. They call it quantitative easing, which is a fancy term for just printing money, right? And so when you print money, you devalue money. So when you print it in such a large scale, like trillions and trillions of dollars, now you're printing money and you're creating debt, right? You're creating debt. And we hear about these governments, in trillions of dollars in debt. And my friends, I just want you to understand that this is just my opinion right now, okay? This is my opinion. But if you look at all the trillions of dollars in debt, so the U.S. is going to be, 50 trillion in debt. Canadian government will be a trillion or 2 trillion by the time we're all done with this COVID relief funds and the money that's going out. And so, how in the world are these governments going to be able to pay back this debt? Well, let's talk about inflation. Inflation, good morning, guys, good to see you. Inflation is the only way out. Seriously, if we hit hyperinflation, that actually benefits the people that are in debt. Now, I'm not saying to go out there and buy a whole bunch of stuff and get into debt. I'm saying that in debt, if the people that have good debt, so there's bad debt and there's good debt. Bad debt is depreciating assets that lose value, depreciating items that lose value the second you buy them, like stuff. And then there is appreciating assets like real estate. And this is why I believe in real estate, because real estate goes, it's a hedge against inflation. Now, think about your property. If you bought a piece of real estate right now, let's call it $1 million. And so $1 million asset leveraged, you put $800,000 mortgage on that asset. And think about what happens if we were ever to hit hyperinflation. Okay? Now, I'm not an economist. I do not have a crystal ball. This is just speculation and it's one person's opinion, so please do your own research, and before you start you want to pull the trigger on getting yourself into debt. But this is what would happen if hyperinflation were to hit. Let's say your $1 million property is now worth $100 million, for example, or $1 billion, or I mean let's say $100 million or $500 million, but your debt is now $800,000. So you had $1 million asset, you were able to leverage, and you were able to hedge against a potential inflation. Now, that would be catastrophic, and that means that the price of goods and services would be through the roof, but you were able to hedge against an asset that's going to produce income. And so this is using this strategy. Imagine you're in $50 trillion in debt. All of a sudden, that $1 trillion is worth nothing because the value of money has gone down so low that $1 trillion is worth nothing, and all of a sudden now the debt is wiped clean, and now you can reset like they did back in 1944. You guys can look up that history. You can write this down. 1944. This is when the monetary system was created, and there was a reset. And that reset could come. And so imagine we hit hyperinflation where money is essentially worthless, and all of a sudden these governments now, their debt is wiped clean. We reset, we go on to some other type of currency, which no one knows what they would be. Is it going to be Bitcoin? Is it going to be some sort of crypto? I think so. I think it will be some sort of crypto, and there is a lot of evidence that points that we are going that way. We're going to a digital currency, and so the current monetary system that we see is in trouble. Now, what is it going to be now? Is it going to be in 2022? Is it going to be in 2024? Is it going to be in 2025? You know what? I don't have a crystal ball. I'm just simply, creating a conversation here about hyperinflation. But the writing's on the wall. You could see when governments are printing money in excess, you can see where the money's devalued. For example, I just heard, and I have this here. Like a lot of you probably watched The Last Dance. I want you to comment down below if you watched The Last Dance. Oh, wow. I lost my YouTube feed. Comment down below if you watched The Last Dance. Comment down below. Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. just recently, Michael Jordan, and I'm just gonna guesstimate because I saw the story. I'm trying to remember the story where the Michael Jordan rookie card sold for like $500,000, right? Or was it? I think it was a Wayne Gretzky rookie card. Peachy Wayne Gretzky rookie card sold for $500,000. I can't remember exactly the reason, which card it was. I'm just trying to remember the article. But why did it sell for $500,000 or $1 million? Just a playing card, a simple playing card. Well, it's the supply and demand, right? So there's only 2 or 3 in the world available, and so that increases the value. Now, when I watched The Last Dance, I remembered as a kid I had this card. So I want you to comment down below if you have this card right here, Michael Jordan baseball card. And when I was watching The Last Dance, I remembered that I did have this card. Hopefully we can resume. Let me see here. My YouTube feed went down. I don't know why, but we'll see if it works. Something went wrong with the YouTube feed. That's fine. I want to see in the comments. Do you have this card? Do you have this card? Now, I was so excited. I went through my boxes, and I remember I had this card. It's actually in this nice little case, and I was so excited. I'm like, I have that card, right? And recently I seen a story about, a Michael Jordan card selling for, X amount of dollars or whatnot. And then I found it and I was so happy, and then I went online and I said, how much is this worth, right? How much is this worth? And the card was only worth $20. I mean, this is and what's the difference between this and, for example, a Michael Jordan rookie card or, anything that is exclusive or there's a lack of, is the amount of cards that were printed. So when Upper Deck in 1991 printed this card, they printed literally thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of these cards. The reason why a Wayne Gretzky rookie card sells for $500,000. I'm trying to remember if it's $500,000. I can't even remember the amount. Something ridiculous for a card, right? For a playing card. And the reason that is because there's only 2 or 3 in the world, right? And so that's exactly how currency works. When you print currency, they call it quantitative easing. You simply put more dollars into the economy. So now there's more dollars chasing less things. For example, if you see the prices of real estate is going up, it's not really. This is inflation happening right now as we speak. Right now, the reason real estate is going up as we feel it is because there is more dollars in the market chasing less properties. So less inventory there. You have more money. Lots of money was printed, and it went into the market to stimulate the marketplace. And people, right now, because of this thought of hyperinflation, and we're living through inflationary times, people, are chasing assets, hard assets, because it's the only way to hedge against a potential hyperinflation, right? Now, again, I want to remind you, this is just my opinion, one person's opinion, because inflation has been happening all the time, right? So, for example, how much was a loaf of bread 30 years ago? Well, 30 years ago, loaf of bread was about 30 cents. How much is a loaf of bread today? Well, today it's about $4. And really, it depends if you are if you're eating gluten free, because it can be a lot more expensive. And so, over 30 years, the price of bread has gone through the roof, right? From 30 cents to $4. But not really. It's the buying power that has gone down. You need more of those dollars to buy less of the things that you need, like food, cars, real estate. And so the only way to hedge against a potential hyperinflation is real estate. Is if you're sitting on good debt. Now, there's a difference between good debt and bad debt. Bad debt, this is stuff. Good debt, these are assets, income producing assets. Like real estate, for example. And so and I'm going to say if because no one has a crystal ball, but if we hit hyperinflation and you're sitting on millions of dollars in debt of real estate, good debt, real estate debt, then you hedge against that inflation. At some point, they'll reset the monetary system and we'll go to whatever new currency that is in place. That could be anything. Could be chickens. Guess what? What if chickens is a new currency? Well, you know what? Someone could potentially pay their rent with chickens, which is why I love real estate, specifically multifamily apartment buildings. That's I'm passionate because this is a hedge, right? This is a hedge against potential inflation, right? Now, whether we're going to see, inflation at 10%, 15%, I think we're seeing inflation right now. We're living through inflationary times, but I think there's more to come, right? Now, that's just my opinion. Again, my opinion. We've never lived through this before, but I have a feeling that currency is due for some sort of disruption. What do you think? What do you guys think? I want you guys to comment down below. Yes, woohoo, rockstar! Thank you guys. I really appreciate that, Karen. I really appreciate that. Chicken, she loved. Yes, yeah. So hyperinflation is definitely a possibility. It's not out of this world to think about potential hyperinflation, and that's just my opinion. Now, people that are sitting on cash will unfortunately suffer during this time. So, if anything, make sure that you're investing in some sort of hard asset that could hedge. You could hedge against inflation, right? This is why people are buying gold, precious metals. Some people are into Bitcoin. What do you guys think? What do you think is the best way to hedge against potential inflation? What I love is the leverage. So real estate provides leverage. So with $100,000, you can access a $500,000 asset, right? So you're not only hedging against a potential inflation, but you also are borrowing money at the value of money today, and as inflation starts to increase, you still have that debt, and so people with debt are going to win. And so I'm really curious on your opinions here. Hi, Liz. Good to see you guys. Yes. So, and here's a few things that you guys can do. Check out the history. Check out the history of money. You will see that, even from the Great Depression, and what happened in 1944, 1971, in the 80s when we hit inflation. Get educated on money. If anything, you should be educated on how the monetary system works. I mean, you use money every day. Do you know how it works? You should know how it works. And then find assets that you can hedge a potential inflation, if that's what you're worried about. I mean, I'm not saying that that's going to be that's actually going to happen or whatever. I'm just again, we're all just having a discussion here. Mo says real estate, ownership of business, and crypto and stocks. Yes, sir. I love that. Right. So Mo's thinking about that. Let me see, Rodrigo. Great explanation. Thank you, my friend. Great to see you guys. And I really want to hear from you guys. I really want to hear from you. Comment down below. I want to have a really good, healthy discussion about this subject matter, which is hyperinflation. Do you believe it's going to happen? And if it is going to happen, how? How do you believe it's going to happen? And if this is new to you, if we're this morning, and if you caught this live and you're like, what does he mean hyperinflation? Do some research. See the history of money. This is not unusual. It's happened in at many times in our history. It's possible. It happened in Germany in 1922. So it's not unusual to see a situation. It's happening in Venezuela right now as we speak. And so how can you protect yourselves? How can you protect your wealth? And what is a world without the current monetary system look like? In my view, you still are going to have real estate. Now, here is the balancing act that the governments are going to have to figure out. If they do not want to see... Now, inflation is good for the governments, okay? Inflation is good for the governments because that means the debt that they have will reduce just by inflation, because the value of money goes down, and that means their debt, in essence, reduces, okay? So it's good, but I don't think they want to hit hyperinflation to a point where we have to reset the economy. I don't think that's something that they're looking to do. So the balancing act is, as inflation increases, at some point they'll have to increase, and this is going to have to be a balancing act. They will have to increase the interest rates, okay? So to try to stabilize that, okay? So as inflation increases to a point where they're satisfied, where they can, they know that now they're in a position where they can service their debt, okay? Now the trick to stabilize that is to increase interest rates. And that is going to be the trick, the balancing act. Whether or not they're going to be successful, you know what? Only history will be able to tell. Only the future will tell. But I'm really interested to see what you guys think. Yeah, Venezuela is a disaster. That's what Liz is. Liz, how you doing? Good to see you. She's on Instagram. Good to see everyone here this morning. Wow, you guys are there's a lot of you here. For whatever reason, I lost my YouTube feed, but that's okay. You know, it was a great subject matter. I want you guys to continue commenting on this video. I want to know, what do you think about hyperinflation? Whether it's good. Do you think there's benefits, right? Do you think there's going to be some benefits in the world when we see hyperinflation? Obviously, the cost of goods are going to increase. But to a point where there's a reset. Do we need a reset? Do we need to go to a cryptocurrency? Do you believe in Bitcoin? Do you believe that Bitcoin will be the cryptocurrency of choice? Right? I still have a question mark on that. I think that if there is a reset, I think short term people will go to crypto to preserve their wealth. But I also think that there's going to have to be a governing party behind crypto if you want to have 100% of the masses to connect to it and believe in it. And I think that's definitely where we're going. It's going to be some interesting times moving forward. As a real estate investor, I can sleep at night, to be honest with you guys. And I believe in the validity of apartment buildings and as an asset class, and this is why people are chasing real estate right now, because we're living through inflationary times, and we're going to have to at some point some things will have to change, and people feel that, so they're chasing real estate. But not all real estate is good, as you know. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you connect with people on what to do. If you need some advice, if you want to connect with me, hey, send me a direct message, and I can definitely connect with you on the real estate front. That is what I do. I can't talk about gold or Bitcoin, which I think are all, are great choices, but I can talk about apartment buildings. And if that's something that you're into, send me a quick DM. Let's chat. Let's see how our paths align. My good friends, was this fun? Give me some hearts. Give me some thumbs up if you think if this was fun this morning. Good. Yes, awesome topic. Yes. Thank you all. I love the hearts. I love the love. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for all the thumbs up and the hearts. You guys have been amazing this morning. Hey, you know what? Alfonso loves you, and we'll see you all at the top.